The initial dragging shape developed from the toe-on toe-off begins this idea of hanging long enough through the bottom of the tap swing to load even more potential power. Instead of folding the body and bringing the toes in and onto the bar, of course, the athlete lifts into this spiking or changing the bar bounce into a powerfully timed ellipse. I feel it is easy to recognize the start of this bounce as the bar is initially lifted up. The most important part, however, is while leaving the top of this ellipse, the athlete keeps constant pressure down and forward on the bar as to pull the bar up again before slamming down at the first beat of this downward bounce. As the athlete develops the strength and ability to hold this position into the second beat of this tap or the furthest part of the ellipse, the athlete then, call me crazy, but pulls down. This pull down is necessary to turn over fast enough to time the lift of the bar, thus transferring all this potential power to the athlete, sending them as high as their power will allow. It is noted, however, that the athlete doesn't necessarily want to break the shoulder angle or head position, but rather create tension on the bar to begin flipping under or gainering into the flip. Notice the soft hands as the athlete lets go. No further tug is necessary if this is timed correctly. The power from the bar is then transferred to the athlete. Notice the head position buried into the gainer position throughout the flip. In dealing with multiple Kovacs, once the pressure on the bar is established again, the athlete simply repeats and hopefully catches the previous release with the biggest of extension, creating even more potential power into the first and second beats of the bounce. I get asked about this video all the time. In this example, notice the exaggerated hang through the bottom into the spike. As the bar is lifted up, notice how the pressure down and forward from this bigger circle created from the open handstand is used to create the second bar bounce up. The athlete then loads up into slamming the shoulders down into the bottom of the bounce. As the power is held and further creating the biggest of circle, notice the quick pull down and soft hand release and the flipping forward into the piking gainering position. The second Kovacs height is only achieved by 1, catching the first with more extension than even the spike could create, and 2, the ability to hang through the bottom long enough to use the shoulders and chest shape change as the Kovacs' primary snapping or shape-changing force. Once again, notice the soft hands as the release is established. No further tug or pull down is necessary. Notice the head down and weightless sitting up into the gainer position. In this example, you can really see the mastery of the elliptical bounce and how exaggerated it is performed. Notice the extreme bar bounce upward into the spike. Watch the shoulders continue to stay open, creating the athlete to achieve the biggest of circle at the top. Watch the perfectly timed lift again before slamming into the beginning of the dragging position. As the drag is held into this athlete's furthest circle, notice the pull down and soft hand released. Again, no further tug or pull down is necessary when timed perfectly with the last lift of the bar. The only critique I'd like to point out is that when the athlete sits up into the casino, he breaks his hips and is slow standing up with his upper body. Then he neglects to front flip faster into the second half, most likely due to his core strength ability to flip as one unit. This causes his rotation to stall and ultimately drop fast into the last half. Rather, the athlete must learn to stand up faster and as one body shape while rising into a layout Kovacs or the first half of the casino.